What up, though, y'all? What's going on? Thank you for being back with us again for another episode of 411 Lions. Especially appreciate y'all for sticking with us during the off season. Obviously, the off season is a little bit slower, not as much going on, but we're still going to cover stuff because at the end of the day, we are Lions fans. The grind never stops. So thank y'all for continuing to join us. Of course, my name is Keith Boggs, King Keith, whatever you want to call me. You can follow me on Instagram at _ Dr. King Dream. Same thing on Twitter. As I was telling Sierra, some funky things going on with TikTok right now. Apparently, the thing about you not being able to re-download on a new phone is true. So we'll work on that. But Sierra still has a TikTok. I still have access to the TikTok on my old phone. But y'all can follow me on all those platforms. Go ahead, CB.
What up, world? It is your girl, CB. You can follow me on TikTok, Lions 411 Podcast. We also have our YouTube now public. I'll be posting more shorts. I'll be posting the podcast episodes, so you can follow us also on YouTube, 411 Lions, Spotify, 411 Lions, Apple Podcasts, 411 Lions, Amazon Music, 411 Lions. You can follow me on Instagram at CBLoveThat. Oh yeah. All right, what we talking about today?
We're talking about the inevitable. When you're so good, and I mean, obviously the Lions didn't finish the season how we wanted, but when you as a franchise and a team are so successful, just in general, you lose people. People fall off. Other people want the people that you have, and they can offer them more money and promotions and things like that. So obviously the Lions did have a bit of a coaching carousel going on. Still going on a little bit, but for the most part, they've settled the big roles. But we did unfortunately lose Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson did go to the rival Chicago Bears. I don't blame him. I get it. You know, Caleb Williams is a pretty enticing player to be able to work with. They got some pieces. Chicago's somewhat of a story franchise, I guess. Aaron Glenn left to come out here.
Historically bad.
Yeah, I mean, historically bad, but also they have some very, famous franchises. Obviously, the 85 Bears are, the best defense ever. So, they have, a built-up reputation. Chicago is the third biggest media market in America. All those kind of things, I guess, make them enticing a certain extent, at least. But Aaron Glenn left for one of the only media markets that is bigger than Chicago's in New York's. So he'll be coaching right around the corner for me here in New Jersey, with the New York Jets, which he played for the New York Jets. Everybody kind of just is fond of Aaron Glenn. Everybody has great things to say about Aaron Glenn. So nobody was surprised that he left, but unfortunately, the Lions are out of their two coordinators, two very outstanding coordinators, two coordinators who built up very strong reputations in the league. Sierra, you want to tell us a little bit about who replaced them? Which I don't know if you can replace them, but who we put in their spots.
Alrighty, let's see. Who did we put in their spots? So, for the offensive coordinator, for the replacement for Ben Johnson, we have John Morton out of Denver. Helped coach up or develop Bo Nix, which, okay, he looks pretty good. He also used to, I believe, be on the coaching staff of the Lions a couple years ago. So, nice to see you back, Mr. Morton. And then our new defensive coordinator replacing Aaron Glenn will be Kevin Shepard. He was a coaching promotion from the Lions linebacker coach. So, good to have him. We shall see what they bring. I think we'll be just fine. I know there's a lot of controversy. Oh, Ben Johnson went here. Aaron Glenn went here. Aaron Glenn and I believe Ben Johnson did take a couple people from our staff with them. So, people kind of felt a little silly about that. But it's all right. It's all right. We still got Brad Holmes. We got Dan Campbell. We still got about $47 million in cap space, which we'll talk about later. But I definitely think we'll be okay with our new offensive coordinator out of Denver. Bo Nix looks pretty good.
Yeah. Morton's definitely a guy who's been around the league a while. From what I've heard, he seems to be more of a pass-happy play caller, which is fine considering the Lions' weapons that they have, and that can help kind of balance out the run game pretty well. So, should be interesting to see how that works because I think he's a guy that a lot of people don't know a lot about, and he wasn't one of those big name hires that was on a lot of people's radar. But he has connections to Dan Campbell. He has connections to the franchise in general. So I think that he kind of understands the kind of offense the Lions want to run, the kind of offense that they have been running. So hopefully it's really not a lot of beats being skipped. I think Ben Johnson got the reputation as being a super creative guy who came up with all these trick plays and all these different kind of things. We'll see if that was really the truth or if that was just kind of a product of the offense that the Lions ran in general. But it'll be interesting. I think that his is very much I have a wait and see approach from Morton. For Kelvin Shepard, I am more excited. He's a guy that, when you saw Aaron Glenn doing the kind of chilling back on the sideline, watching the game sometimes toward the end. I think that those are the times where like he really felt comfortable in the other defensive coaches to be able to step up for him. Kelvin Shepard is a guy that they have been saying for a while was ready for this, and he was a guy that was kind of made for this, and he's been coaching the Lions linebackers, which I think he's done a really good job of coaching the Lions linebackers.
Yes.
Kelvin Shepard, of course, also played in the NFL. I believe he played with the Eagles, I want to say, for a decent amount of time. So former player, guy that connects to the players really well. Seems like a guy that's very, very deserving of this promotion, and a guy who could have got promoted to other teams even if he wanted to. I think probably would have got some interviews. I feel like if the Lions weren't going to promote him, so I'm excited. He seems like a guy again that connects with people really well. He obviously understands the defense because he's been here for a few years now. He's a guy that seems to appreciate hard workers. I was looking at that clip from Hard Knocks where he was kind of getting into the linebackers room a little bit. This was a couple of years ago, but he was getting into the linebacker room a little bit and telling guys like, "Look, Malcolm Rodriguez is a sixth round rookie, and he's doing all these things X, Y, and Z. A lot of you guys are going to lose playing time to a guy like this if he's the guy that's out hustling you." And I think that that's a good mentality to have. Like best guys need to be out there, regardless of whatever your status is, regardless of wherever you come from, regardless of how tall you are and whatever pedigree you come with. So I expect this defense to have a strong level of fight. I don't think that they lost too much in the other areas as well. So I'm optimistic for Kelvin Shepard for sure. With Morton, I have more of a wait and see approach, but the Lions got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. They shouldn't be struggling either way.
Yeah, definitely great analysis. I did not see that clip of the Hard Knocks, so definitely shout out to you for coming with the breakdowns, of course. But yeah, I think we'll be okay. I don't think that, oh well, just because the offensive coordinator and defense coordinator, I mean, that to me don't make or break the team. I'm not,
Mhm.
trashing them, but I think we'll be okay with the talent that we have. The coaches, one stepped up to get a promotion, Kelvin, and then we got John Morton. He has ties to the Detroit Lions organization
Mhm.
already. I think we'll be all right. And then of course we got Dan Campbell, so he ain't leaving, he ain't going nowhere. So I
Yeah,
think we'll be all right.
I think people forget how good Dan Campbell is at identifying talent. Not saying that he just, is bringing in the next Ben Johnson and the next Aaron Glenn, but who knows how good these guys are. But we know that Dan Campbell kind of has an eye for talent. They were able to keep a lot of the other guys as well. I think Tanner Ingerstrand is staying around. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think he's sticking around. He was the pass game coordinator. I saw recently that Scotty Montgomery, actually today, Scotty Montgomery is being moved from running backs coach to wide receiver coach. Or Scotty Montgomery was a wide receiver actually, so that makes a lot of sense. And he's a very well respected guy as well. Um, and then also the running back coach, they not replaced, but moved Scotty Montgomery, and they brought in a running back coach from Texas, the University of Texas.
Yep.
He was actually Jameer Gibbs' coach at Georgia Tech as a running backs coach, was also Bijan Robinson,
Yep.
Mark Brooks, I think his name is, a few different guys that got drafted to the league pretty recently. So seems like good moves are being made even underneath because we did lose Antoine Randall as well. Unfortunately, him and JT Barrett did leave on the offensive side to follow Ben Johnson to Chicago. So yeah, again, like you said, I'm still feeling good. I think the Lions are going to be fine. Still got good head coaches. We still got good head coaches. Decent coordinators, I think, will be fine. General manager, all that. Still from top down, I think this is a really good franchise.
Also, just to add, I think Tanner is taking the job for the Jets offensive coordinator.
Is oh,
So
I did see where Ingerstrom went.
I think he might be following Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, which is fine. Again, it's fine. I think that gives John Morton a little more space for this to kind of really be his thing on offense. So I I don't know what this is going to look like. I mean, Denver was a lot more successful on offense than I think a lot of people expected. They certainly overachieved. So for him to be a
Mhm.
guy that was working under that offense to come here and be able to work under this offense. I mean, you got a lot more to work with. Like you do. So maybe he can do more with having more. It would be nice to see, but very much a wait and see approach. I just don't know a lot about Morton.
Yeah. So I think we'll be okay. So the only thing we have left looks like the vacancies in the Detroit Lions camp as of right now, because obviously other coaches they're still taking interviews and things of that nature.
Mm.
But right now what we have open is assistant QB coach, assistant linebacker coach, assistant defensive line coach. So
Mm.
only three vacancies right now. Could be more. We never know. Could be some guys getting stepping into promotion. So we shall clock that.
Awesome, awesome. I know we also went to chat a little bit about potential free agents,
Oh
which
yeah.
yeah, we could talk about Lions free agents first, and obviously free agency when it comes in March will be a bigger thing. But you want to let us know who the Lions have on their squad, some guys that are potential upcoming free agents or major holes that they might have coming up. I know Zeitler and Ozarike are a couple.
Zeitler owns a Levi owns Enrique, Carlton Davis, Tim Patrick, Dan Skipper, Marcus Davenport, Kendall Vildar.
Hmm. Huh. I'm hearing that list and I'm like, some of those guys I want to bring back, some of them I don't.
Right.
um, some that stand out definitely for sure. I mean, Davenport was outstanding for like the 1.5 game that he played, which
Yeah.
is unfortunately kind of typical of Marcus Davenport. He's the injury prone guy, very talented injury prone guy. If the Lions want to, throw him another bone, same thing with Emmanuel Mosley, another guy who's talented but just can't stay healthy. If they want to throw some flyers out there, I'm here for it by all means. Carlton Davis is going to be a very, very interesting one because he is a pretty proven player, at least as a quality player. I thought he was really good for the Lions this year. But I'd be surprised if he's not looking for a multi-year deal. Do I think the Lions are going to offer him a multi-year deal? I could see it, but obviously they got Terry Arnold, who they want to, to be a guy in the future. They got Rakestraw, who didn't really get a lot of reps, but I think they would
Which
like
I would like to see more of.
exactly. And you don't want to block him off too much, especially if you feel like he can be good. You got to Meek Robertson, who obviously has proven to be inside, outside, whatever you need from him, but he should be on the field a lot as well. So I don't know if you dole out the money for a Carlton Davis, or maybe you draft another guy to kind of replace that as a quality guy. But I don't know. I could see, I understand both avenues for the Lions in that case.
Yeah, with the Carlton Davis, I don't think that I'll end up not liking what they'll do. There's a couple rumors on the table, not that anything is true, of what could happen to Carlton Davis. We could offer him a multi-year deal, but I think we're probably going to come in under how much money he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody may sign him for more money. The deal he wants. DJ Reed, I hear, is in the rumors. We may try to sign him to replace Carlton Davis. Um,
I don't like that. I don't like that. He had a
oh
good
yeah,
year. He's been good. I feel like if you are going to bring a guy in that's going to block some of the young guys, let it be a guy that fits well in his locker room, fits well in his team. Carlton Davis is a little injury prone as well. He has been his career, but um, if you're going to sign a guy to a decent amount of money, which DJ Reed is also going to cost some money, I would just keep Carlton Davis then.
yeah. Or let Amik Robinson and Davis battle it out, or draft somebody new.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to dissect and unpack there. What I think we should do: either keep Carlton Davis, or see if you want Amik or Davis to more so battle it out on who you want to keep and who you want to give the contract to. I wouldn't mind just keeping Carlton Davis. I mean,
Yeah, I thought he was a great fit for the Lions scheme. I really did. I wonder if you want Terrion to play, if you want Rakestraw to play, if you want Robertson to play. Um, Carlton Davis is going to take a spot. And then you got Brian Branch, who can also play corner. Like, I don't know. I think that they got to decide if they are willing to, if they feel good about Rakestraw, let him rock. Like, let Arnold and Rakestraw rock, and then maybe bring in like a veteran who's a lesser veteran, because Carlton Davis is going to play if he's healthy. But I'm here for both options. I really am. I'm here for both options. They could draft a guy to replace Carlton Davis. Corners take a long time to come along, so I don't know if they really replace them. But
and I don't know if this draft class is that good this year for a corner. I ain't really.
I think it is, but it's more so good for a corner at the top. I mean, you got Will Johnson and Travis Hunter, guys like that. But
I mean, yeah, but we at the back end of the
yeah,
draft.
so you're not getting either one of those guys. Those are top 10 players, probably top 5 players for real. So I don't know. I don't think there's really any bad route. I think that if the confidence is in Terrion Arnold, though, you gotta make sure there's a spot penciled in for him. And then Carlton Davis or a rookie or a younger guy, Rakestraw, I think should be at the other end, and then Robertson kind of playing either or. But we'll see. We'll see. There are other interesting guys that the Lions could be looking at as well. I know he mentioned Zeitler on the offensive line. He's a little older. He played good, but he's a little older.
I mean, I say keep him. I mean, we had him on a one year, $6 million deal. Just sign him one more
year. Yeah, I do feel that. I think that the Lions do need to start drafting some offensive line. I personally, if there's an offensive lineman that is like one of the better available players with their first pick, I would take an offensive lineman. Grant Glasgow is older. Zeitler's like mid-30s. He's like 35.
Decker.
Decker is not a spring chicken either. He's still got some years in him, but he has some struggles this year as well. And then Frank Ragnow, while he isn't that old, is always hurt. He plays through them, but he is always hurt. I don't know how many years Frank Ragnow is going to stick around either. So they got Christian Mahogany. They obviously have Penei Sewell, who's very, very young still, but they need to start throwing some more starter level guys, I think, on this offensive line that are younger. So, I mean, they could bring Zeitler back for a 1-year deal, but they need some 24, 25, 26-year-old guys, like, or some rookies or something, because this offensive line is a little bit old.
Yeah, but I still think, I mean, we rank what? Still in the top 10 offensive line.
Absolutely.
I think right now this year we should re-sign him 1 more year, and then next year kind of see what we want to do. But I wouldn't sign them multi-year deals, which the Lions probably not gonna sign them multi-year deals if they re-sign them. But yeah, I'll re-sign him.
I'm here for it. I do like Zeitler. He did perform well. I just worry about the age and the Lions offensive line being a bit geriatric.
Okay, who we got next? Levi Onwuzurike.
Yes. Onwuzurike, to me, seemed to play pretty solid minutes for the Lions. And rotational guys at the defensive line position are huge because you got to rotate those guys in a lot. Like, they can't play every snap. Most guys just don't. You got the Aiden Hutchinsons, the Max Crosby's who will play every single snap. But, like, for the most part, you got to have a good first line, a good second line. It's almost like hockey in a way. Like, these guys shift in and out. I would bring him back, but it has to be at a reasonable deal as well, because I have heard some weird rumors about him getting like a big contract offer from other teams, and I'm like, I don't really know where that's coming from with the injury.
I didn't see all that because he injured.
He was injured for like his first 3 years because he had a back issue, and you know how backs are. Like, backs can be really bad. A lot of people thought that Onwuzurike just was never going to play. Like, that really looked like the likely conclusion was he was never going to actually play. And he did.
My back hurting right now. I mean,
and it don't feel good. It will stop you. It will slow you down. So a lot of people really didn't think he was going to play, and he did, and he actually played quality minutes. But if they're bringing it back on, a 2-year, 10-year deal, like something like that, I'm here for it. I don't know. Those are just random rumors, so I'm assuming that he's not getting $10 to $12 million per year from another team. But I wouldn't pay that. No.
I haven't saw that yet. Okay. Who we got next? Tim Patrick. Whoa. I like Tim Patrick.
I love Tim Patrick's game. I do.
Let me give you these stats. So 394 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 drops. Also with St. Brown. First in the NFL.
Yeah. I like Tim Patrick, and I think that the Lions should be open to bringing him back. I do feel like we have to bring up the fact that Vegas right now has the odds set at the Lions being the most likely team to acquire Cooper Cup from the Rams.
Oh my God. I'm tired of that, man. No.
I If they go get Cooper Cup, I don't know if there's any way that they bring Tim Patrick back because that's just too many guys to throw the ball to. But if they don't, which I don't think that they do. I really don't know why the odds are that high. Besides the fact that Brad Holmes likes Cooper Cup, obviously, but
You
um,
think we should get Cooper Cup?
I don't think that we should unless it's like very cheap. Like if it's on the cheap, sure, but like otherwise, I'm not really here for it. As like a
Me
receiver,
either.
obviously, he's still a good player. I think he can play, but and he'd be as a number 3 receiver, like he'd be outstanding as a number 3 receiver, quality wise. But
We don't
um,
need him.
yeah,
I
that
don't see how we need him.
I don't think we need him. But I mean, if we're talking about as a luxury, if we can afford it, like if they're like, okay, well, give us a 6th round pick, and I don't know what his contract looks like, but if his contract isn't too bad, or they're willing to pay some of it, I'd be fine with it if it's a good deal. But I wouldn't give anything higher than like a 5th or 6th round pick for him, and his contract can't be too bad. But if he's our number 3 receiver, I'm not complaining. He's still a really, I don't want to say really good, but he's still a good player. So, and if they do that, Tim Patrick, probably go ahead and walk for a better opportunity because he deserves a better opportunity than that. But
I like him. Keep Tim Patrick.
I agree. I think bring back Tim Patrick. But if they go get Cooper Cup, they're not going to probably bring back Tim Patrick.
We better not get. I don't want no Cooper Cup. No.
I mean, I don't see why not. He is good.
I like Tim Patrick.
See,
Just stick with what you know. I don't. To me, that number 3 ain't broke.
this is where you got to be careful with the whole I like the players we have. Because yes, we like the players that we have, but if we have an opportunity to get better, we got to let the feeling go. Because everybody loves Tim Patrick. He's a really likable guy. His story is great. He played hard. Like he came out of nowhere. But
I'm
if we're
talking
talking
about the
about
play. What I saw.
if we're talking about who's a better wide receiver right now, I don't think there's really a question that Cooper Cup is better than Tim Patrick.
Yeah, but Cooper Cup gonna be injured.
Tim Patrick tore his ACL 2 years in a row, so we.
Listen, that's 2 years ago. Besides that, what I saw
Tim Patrick
this
misses
year,
more games than Cooper Cup does.
not this year.
But the 2 years before that, he literally did not
Listen,
play.
he was not on the NFL. I mean, he was not on the Lions 2 years ago. The year that I'm talking about, which is last year, I seen him do good. I don't think we need Cooper Cup.
You can't call Cooper Cup injury prone, but not call Tim Patrick injury prone. Tim Patrick is also injury prone if Cooper Cup is injury prone. It's the same.
Listen, he might be in the past, but this year he was fine.
So we want to talk about 1 year. You can't just consider 1 year though. Guys have played more than 1 year.
Well, we talk about who's on the free agency this year, and
But you
I'm
gotta
talking
look at
about
guys'
what I've
body.
seen.
You got to look at guys' body of work too, though. You can't just be like, "Oh, well, he was good. He was decent for his last year." Like Cooper Cup has won a Super Bowl MVP.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
the
but
pass with Matthew Stafford. Yes, he
and
has.
Tim Patrick had 400 yards in the past.
Last season is what I'm going by. What I saw.
How many?
I like the resign.
Okay, well, let's see how many yards.
0 drops.
How many yards did Cooper Cup have last year?
I don't know. That's the Rams. I'm talking about. I keep up with the Lions.
Let's check. Let's check.
Go ahead.
Cooper Cup last year had 710 yards. Like,
So what?
see, he's better than Tim Patrick.
My thing is, okay, if we sign Cooper Cup, which I don't think we're going to get him for expensive or super cheap, though. I don't think we're going to get him for super cheap. Everybody predicts that we are. I don't think the Rams are giving Cooper Cup for us for super cheap. So we're going to cut into that cap. We already talking about maybe, I don't know, Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. Those rumors flying out. I'd rather us put our energy more into that if we're going to put energy into anything. Offensively, what I saw last season is okay. I'm not saying we shouldn't get better. Now, the offensive line is a little agey, but Tim Patrick, what I saw, I say keep him.
Cooper Cup is a better player. So if the Lions go get him, I'm fine with that. Otherwise, I'd be fine with Tim Patrick too. It's the number 3 receiver at the end of the day. As long as the guys are competent, which they both are obviously clearly competent, I'm fine with either. I'm just saying if they got Cooper Cup, then you don't really worry about Tim Patrick at that point. You might be the first team to have 3 wide receivers who have 1,000 yards in a season if they get Cooper Cup.
Okay, but back to the question. The question is sign or not sign Tim Patrick. What's your vote? My
With the
vote is resign.
with the current roster they have, resign absolutely.
Yeah, I say resign him. I don't think we need to get Cooper Cup. I don't think the Rams are giving Cooper Cup to us for dirt cheap like everybody thinks that they are.
Well, the Rams came out and said we're trading him, so you really don't have very much leverage. So I don't think that you're going to get very much for Cooper Cup. DeAndre Hopkins in his prime got traded for a second round pick. So Cooper Cup is probably going to
Well,
go
the
for a fifth.
Texans are dumb, but
Cooper Cup is probably going to go for a fifth or a sixth round pick. If it's a sixth, yeah, I'd do that instantly.
Tennessee is dumb.
Yeah, I'd do that instantly. I would absolutely do that instantly. But since we're on the topic, because you talked about some of these big name guys, what's the deal? What are your thoughts on the Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, whatever?
Yeah, because we already talked about sign or resign. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm in the middle. If we were to go after somebody, I mean, Max Crosby will probably cost us less than Myles Garrett. I mean, Myles Garrett is what? Let's see. First in pressures, second in hurries, third in sacks, eighth in hits, had a 92 overall on Pro Football Focus. Myles Garrett, I think, we would have to give up a lot. Draft capital, which Brad Holmes does good and gets good players during the draft capital. We're probably gonna cut into some of that cap money, and the Browns may want a couple Lions players. It might be a little too risky for
Yeah,
Miles.
I'm very. I mean, I love it if they did it. Like, of course, I'd be excited. Like, oh my god, they
Yeah,
got Myles Garrett, absolutely, like best D
I
line.
love to have him.
Yeah, but me, it's a no. Like, and it's not even. It's really not a thought of if it's a yes or no. In my opinion, when I do it, I no. Like, there's too many draft picks to give up, and more importantly, it's way too much money to pay into the D line. Aiden Hutchinson is going to get $30+ million a year. Ali McNeil's making $25 million a year. DJ Reader, at least for next year, is making like $12 million a year. It's too much money to put into a defensive line to add another $30+ million a year guy. Like, it's way too much money. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You're giving up too many draft picks. The Lions are in that position where everybody's like, oh, they're good, they need to go for it. Yes, they need to go for it, but at the same time, do not give up your future. Like, do not sell out all your draft picks. You need young, cost control players. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, currently Aiden Hutchinson. Those guys are on rookie contracts. They're not making any more than $5 or $10 million a year. You need those players to be successful, especially when you're paying a quarterback who is good, not great, $50 million a year. You cannot pay that many guys that much money. You just can't do it.
Yeah, especially if we pay, because I mean Hutcherson sooner or later gonna be off that rookie contract. We try to give Hutcherson the bag, we give Myles Garrett the bag, and that still may not guarantee us the Super Bowl trip. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't. And then I don't know if the Browns are gonna want. They gonna want somebody. Who we giving?
I think the Browns will do it for all draft picks, but it's gonna be probably 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, like, and maybe you do have to throw in a player as well. Have to throw in I don't know who the Lions are throwing, maybe like a Rakestraw or something like that. Like, I'm not here for that. I really am not here for that move. If they do it again, whatever, we went all in, blah blah blah. We going for it. Fine, I support them. I say let Zadarius rock. Let him play a year with Aiden Hutchinson on the opposite end. Draft more depth along the defensive line. If you really want to pass rusher that bad, go get somebody in the first round. There are pass rushers that I think will be able to be had. James Pierce. There's a cat out of Marshall that's impressing at the Senior Bowl. He might be available late in the first round. Go get a guy who can solely pass rush and give you 8 to 10 sacks if you really want that pressure much more. But I think with Aiden Hutchinson, this team was going to win the Super Bowl. So let him get back. Let Zadarius rock. Add some more rotation to the guys. I do not like the idea of selling a farm for either of them guys. I'm not a fan of Max Crosby.
Selling a farm just for one horse.
Yeah, and
I mean, he's a workhorse.
I'm not a fan of Crosby's personality either. He seems a little bit, I don't know, a little on edge. So yeah, nah.
So no to Max Crosby also.
No, yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, it's the same boat. I would have maybe did it during the season last year, but like at this point, you got Zadarius. Zadarius is fine. He didn't perform the way we hoped, but I think that being on a better defensive line and getting used to the team that might help him a little bit. So,
Right, because
um,
he didn't do bad, but I ain't gonna say he did good.
yeah, he wasn't like a star. He was just kind of fine. And at this point, like I think that drafting a rotational guy, somebody who come in and give you 8 to 10 sacks is fine. Signing another lesser guy to maybe a $7-8 million a year deal, I'm fine with that. Like, but selling all that for a guy that you want to pay a lot of draft capital for, players for, money for, like, nah, I don't think that's where the Lions' need is. I don't.
Right, because they talking about it would be a trade, but I'm like, okay, we get that, but what they getting? So it's
Exactly.
like,
Yeah, you don't get
and
guys
I
for
don't think the Browns is gonna be so desperate with Myles Garrett, considering how desperate they were with Deshaun Watson. They
no.
gonna want the world plus the kitchen sink plus a couple fingers.
The Browns are going to do the opposite of what the Mavs did with Luka Doncic. They're going to actually get a real offer for him instead of selling him in the middle of the night for an injury prone player and a weak draft pick. They're not doing that. They're going to get the best offers from everybody. They're not going to just sell them off randomly.
I mean, but only thing with the Mavericks, for them to do that to Luca, he must have been a problem. I mean,
It, it's
come
just
on now.
it just was a horrible deal. If the Lions ever did something like that, I would be ready to jump off the ship. Like that is just a terrible, terrible trade.
But it might have been. But in the defense of the NBA, I'm sorry, the NBA for the past couple seasons been boring. They needed a storyline. We needed this. Sorry. I like that there's a new storyline cooking. Like, okay, is Luca gonna do good on Lakers? Anthony Davis, now he injured. I think we needed something new.
Yeah,
Everything been boring.
as a Mavericks fan though, like what?
That'll be all right.
Okay,
I
imagine
mean, it's a trade. I mean, now if I was a Mavericks fan,
So what? Okay, so what if the Lions just traded Jahmyr Gibbs to the Giants for nothing, and the NFL was like, oh well, we did it because we needed a storyline. The Lions fans would be all right. How would you feel about it?
I mean, I would be mad, but at the end of the day, I mean, we got to get over it. Like, I ain't gonna be outside Ford Field protesting, acting crazy, and doing death threats like they are. But
You would be
the
okay with them
NFL don't need a storyline. The
trading a
NBA
franchise,
do.
the league trading a franchise player for a storyline? That is insane. You alienate a whole fan base for the sake of casual fans thinking that the league is more entertaining. That is horrible. That is horrible.
Listen, I'm not saying that they did it for a storyline. I'm just happy that there's something new going on in the damn NBA because
Nobody.
NBA is so boring.
The NBA is not boring. People who don't watch basketball
I
think that it's
watch
boring.
basketball. I watch the Pistons.
No, you don't. None of y'all
Yes, I
do.
do.
I've been yelling at y'all for years to watch the Pistons. Y'all watching the Pistons now that they got a winning record. Y'all only
Listen,
watch them because they good. Y'all wasn't watching them last year. People don't
listen.
give basketball a
I
chance.
watched them win 14 games last year.
There's so many good young players in the NBA. People just don't pay attention
Yes, but
because
to
the
me,
NBA
it's boring.
sucks at marketing. That's the problem.
They
They
suck
don't.
at marketing and all them stupid fouls that they keep calling, and everybody shoots threes all day, and it's boring. I'm sorry. Now, there's a couple players that have personalities. Like, I like Steph Curry. Obviously, we know what Steph Curry is. LeBron. We got a John Morant. I'm sorry.
You're
The
too. You're
NBA,
too. It's okay. It's
the
okay.
NBA with the referees,
It's
they
okay.
don't even let them have personalities no more. If they celebrate, they call them a technical foul. Like, I'm sorry, it's boring.
It's
And I
okay.
like that there's a new storyline.
It's okay. You're a casual fan, and that is
I'm
okay.
not whatever.
You're
All
a
right,
casual fan.
back to football.
Yeah, you're a football fan. You do know football, but NBA is a lot of stuff with NBA.
Boring. You gotta download a million channels or pay whatever to watch one freaking game.
Now you're talking. That's the problem. Is that they don't market the young
Boring.
players. The K Cunninghams, the SGAs, all these guys, they are fantastic. LaMelo Ball, he's trapped in Charlotte right now, but these players are great. They are the opposite of boring. They are
I
outstanding.
didn't say that they were boring. I like SGA.
But every team has a guy like this. The NBA just doesn't market them. They don't make their games watchable.
All-Star weekend, boring.
Well,
Regular season, boring. Playoffs, of course, exciting. Other than that, I'm sorry, the NBA is boring.
it's okay, Cat.
Regular season,
It's okay. You're a casual fan. It's okay.
whatever. I like the Pistons. Go Pistons. Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Go
I need to
Pistons.
try to get that white shirt that I still can't find it.
Anyways, we'll find a shirt later.
All right.
Yeah, but it seems like we're in agreement that if they did it, they did it, but preferably not. Don't give up too much for these kind of players, which makes sense. So, I think we're good here. I think because we clearly we have a lot to get off our chest about other things, but
Right, and then the next episode we are probably going to do what's our ranking our wide receiver duos. Because y'all done came for our neck. Y'all done came for our neck, our head, and our shoulders.
You want to go back to that? Okay.
When we put St. Brown and Jameson in the top 5. You came for our neck.
Wide receiver duos, and then we can talk to draft a little bit too next time.
Draft wide receiver. Okay, yeah, we do that. Alrighty. Well, we are gonna wrap it up until a couple of weeks. Well, probably about a week and a half. We'll get a week and a half.
Excellent. Well, with that being said, thank y'all for listening. Please continue to listen. Please continue to follow us. Please continue to comment, whether it's good or it's bad, whatever. We appreciate it. We like hearing y'all voices.
Where can you follow us?
You can follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Apple Music. You can follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on anywhere that you can get your podcast. Anywhere that you might see a random clip of somebody running their mouth, you can find it.
What do we call? Because you said we're to follow us. What we call?
We're called The Keith Show. No, I'm playing. We're called 411 Lions. You already know where to catch us.
All right.
With that,
signing off.
Peace.
Peace.